Breaking this morning, a dad who lost his son in the Parkland shooting is marking today's anniversary by climbing on top of a crane in Washington, D.C. to send a message to President Biden. We're going to have more on this in a moment. This is a video that he has shot there. Today, of course, is the 4th anniversary of the shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, where 17 students and teachers were gunned down by a shooter with an AR-15 semi-automatic weapon. And in remembrance of this day, Parkland parents, survivors, and advocates have launched a new gun violence tracker, which keeps track of all gun deaths and injuries since President Biden took office. And they're urging all Americans to join them in sending a powerful message to the White House.
Thanks to a lack of action from Congress and a lack of urgency from the White House,
this is what it looked like after President Biden's first year. We call it the shock market.
And as the father of Patricia Oliver, who was murdered 4 years ago in the Parkland shooting,
President Biden, I call this unacceptable.
Joining us now, the founders of Shock Market. We have Patricia Oliver, whose son Joaquin was gunned down in the Parkland shooting, David Hogg, who is the co-founder of March for Our Lives, and Igor Volsky, who is the executive director of Guns Down America. Patricia, first to you. We were expecting to have your husband this morning. Your husband, we now know, is on top of a crane near the White House. What can you tell us about what is going on? And presumably he is expecting to be arrested.
Well, you know, Manuel, still Joaquin's dad, he's representing Joaquin in a way to be heard. And since we were in the White House in December expecting being seen by Joe Biden, our president, and he didn't receive us, so we had to find a way to send a message. And today is a special day because sadly it's our 4th year without Joaquin.
I know Manny, as you mentioned, was trying to get a meeting with President Biden. He spent 15 days waiting, in a way having his own vigil, and it wasn't answered. He's brought a lot of attention, certainly, to the cause, but you really get the sense from him and from others that he doesn't feel like the movement is there that needs to be there to make sure that other children don't have the same fate as your son.
Yes.
Is that fair?
It's not.
Is it a fair characterization, do you think, of how Manny feels? Can you tell me about how he feels and about how you feel on this four-year anniversary?
Well, we feel that we are trying our best to do better, to bring this issue into action. We've been working very hard, along with these 2 guys that I have with me. And definitely, we trust in the new administration. And because we haven't seen any changes, we at least are pretending to see that the administration could say or could open an office just dedicated to gun violence, because we've been seeing more than 45,000 people dying since this administration started working.
David, tell me how you're experiencing this anniversary, and also a part of it is launching Shock Market, if you can tell us about that.
So shockmarket.org is a website that helps tally the number of gun deaths and injuries that have happened in the time since President Biden took office. I think one of the things that I've thought about in this time is one of the first interviews that I had in the wake of the shooting, which was actually, I believe, on this show just about 4 years ago. And on that, one of the things that I remember most distinctly from that in the time since watching it is when I said, I was asked by the reporter, you know, what do you want to say to politicians? And I said, we're the kids. You're the adults. You need to do something. It's 4 years later, and I'm 21 years old, and I'm an adult. We need to do something. And frankly, President Biden needs to do something, because there are certain things that he's leaving on the table that he can do right now, like creating a national office of gun violence prevention and a national director of gun violence prevention, and creating a comprehensive plan to dramatically reduce gun deaths before the State of the Union that he can do right now, regardless of the filibuster and regardless of what's going on in the Senate.
So, Igor, why isn't that happening, do you think?
I don't know. You have to ask the president, you have to ask this administration, because as you know, they ran one of the most comprehensive plans to reduce gun violence. President Biden made personal promises to Patricia, to Manuel, to David, that this would be a top priority for him. And the fact that they haven't done everything and anything in their power is unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable.
He did make some big promises on the campaign trail. Let's listen.
I made a commitment, and I mean it. I made a commitment that I'm going to do everything in my power, in office or out of office, to get those assault weapons off the street, which I've done once already, and to get those clips that have multiple bullets in them not for sale, not be able to sell. And I promise you, as president, I am going to get these guys. I want to let them know. Promise you. I'm the only guy that's beaten the gun manufacturer. I'm the only guy that's beaten the NRA nationally, and I did it twice nationally. And gun manufacturers, I'm coming for you. Period.
He hasn't come for them, David.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction?
I'm disappointed. And frankly, if I could say one thing to the president, it's that we need you to go out and act right now before the next Parkland happens, because there are things that you can do right now to help prevent it that you have not done. We need you to make good on your promises because kids are dying.
That promise on gun manufacturers, you know, where are we on that? And what do you say specifically to that one?
Well, more specifically, that obviously comes down to more authority that Congress has there. But we've seen from his very own Attorney General the continuous defense of PLCAA, which is that law that helps protect gun manufacturers from being sued in the first place, protecting them from liabilities.
What do you say to what you heard from the president?
I heard that from the president in person. He said that to us once during campaigning. And what I said to him today is, where are those actions? What's going on that you are not taking anything in practice? We need to see those things besides your words into action.
And you know, the president's going to have an opportunity on March 1st when he stands before a joint session of Congress to deliver a State of the Union. And it's there that he should lay out a comprehensive plan for reducing gun deaths, including the office we've been talking about, including a new nominee to head the ATF so we can really crack down on gun trafficking. He needs a plan. He needs to tell the American people what it is, and then he needs to implement it.
And the best way that people can help with that and join us in this fight is we need people to text action to 954-954, and that's action to 954-954, because we need more people with us in this fight to put pressure on the White House like we did in 2018 with Congress and like we did in 2020 to really hold them accountable now that they're in office.
David, Patricia, Igor, thank you so much for joining us on this anniversary. I'm thinking especially of you, Patricia, and Manny. Will continue to follow what happens there by the White House. And David, thinking of you and the friends that you lost. And we really, really appreciate you all being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.